welcome back to our channel. My name is Ayush Kumar Singh. I am a legal intern in Lexan Company. So in this video, we are going to discuss about the doctrine of consideration and doctrine of privity. Both are governed under Section 2 Clause D of Contract Act. The doctrine of consideration limits the freedom of individual to make binding promises. Only those promises which are supported by consideration are legally binding, other are not, even if the promiser intends to bind himself to the promise. This requirement is unique to the common law. It is not a requirement in the civil law system, and its utility has been called into question of scholars. It does not appear in the position as the most fundamental limitation on the enforcement of a promise is likely to be disturbed. So, the conception of consideration in English law is some determined to the promise, that is, in that he may suffer something or give something of value. Determined to one person or benefit to the other person are the same thing looked from different angles. So, now coming on doctrine of privity. The general rule in common law is that no one but the parties to a contract can be entitled under it or bound by it. This also seems to be import of section 2A, B, C and E, which contemplates only the two parties of an agreement. This principle that only the parties to a contract are entitled to be sued or to be sue upon it's known as the privity of the contract. It lies at the heat of the difference between the right under contract, which are in personam, and proprietary rights, which are in rem. There are two different aspects of the principle of privity of contract which must be considered. The first one is acquisition of right by a third party. This is settled in the negative and the best statement of law, that is Krishna Lal Sahu versus Pirmal Bal Desai. Section 2 Clause D widens the definition of consideration so as to enable a party to a contract to enforce the same in right in certain cases in which the English law would regard that parties at the reception of the purely violatory promise and would refuse him. Not only, however, is there nothing in clause 2 to encourage the idea that contracts can be enforced by a person who is not a party to the contract, but this notion is rigidly excluded by the definition of a promiser and promisee. Now, second one is imposition of liberties upon a third party. As a general rule, two persons entitled into a contract between themselves cannot impose constitutional liberties on a third party. In Gujarat Bottling versus Coca-Cola, G and C agreed that G would not assign, even indirectly, the right to the contract without the consent of G. The shareholder of G transferred their share to G, which had the same effect as an assignment. Without permission of C, it was held that the shareholder of G were not a party to the contract between G and C and hence not bound to it. So I hope you find the video informative. So please like, share and subscribe.